Hi YouTube. So I just thought I'd do a quick little video about something I kind of noticed for the first time really seriously today, about how my MAC makeup brushes were aging in comparison with my brushes from other brands, because I've kind of always aspired to gradually build up my collection of MAC makeup brushes, which have a really good reputation as good kind of professional type tools for amateurs. And I really like the way they look, the way they're presented. And as I say, I've gradually been trying to build up the number that I have for different types of application. And if you saw my video just the other day when I was talking about the MAC Heavenly Creature haul that I'd done and the products that I'd bought, that I'd actually bought one of the brushes that is featured on the site as part of that, although it's, I think, part of the permanent collection, and it's this one, 188, a kind of facial stipple brush that I really was excited about using. Then this morning I was cleaning quite a few of my brushes that are out here, you see, drying. Not all of them, but quite a few of the ones that I use on a regular day in, day out basis. And normally I tend to just be probably washing, that is, cleaning with baby cleaner and water and drying just a couple every week, and I tend to use an alcohol-based cleaner in between. And this week I cleaned quite a lot altogether, and it did make me kind of compare how the different brands were making out as I use them regularly and wash them regularly, and make me think that actually perhaps the MAC ones are not doing too well. What I mean by that is a couple of them I've noticed definitely shed quite a lot, and that's one of the main concerns that a lot of people have when they're assessing whether a brush is really good quality. First of all, how much it sheds when you're actually using it to apply your makeup, but also over time how much the head kind of frays and sheds. Now this is one of my MAC blush brushes. It's the 163, and you can see it's a nice tapered shape, so great for contouring and applying brush or bronzer or highlighter to the cheek and other contours. Now I haven't had this brush very long, probably earlier this year, I guess maybe February or March of this year. I do use it a lot, and I have to clean it a fair amount, not least because it's white. And you can see that it's definitely really losing its shape quite a lot, and softening on the edge there, and the individual hairs are kind of really fraying at the edges a lot, which when I compare it with I have to say a much older, much cheaper brush. Same thing with the fraying. I mean, it's not a direct comparison because obviously different fibres, and this isn't a graduated brush. But I've had this literally years, and although you can see the fraying happening, it's actually held its bulk as a brush, certainly as well, or if not slightly better than the MAC one. This brush here is a molten brown, and again, I've probably had this brush about 10 years, so it's seen a lot of wear and tear, over that time. One of the MAC brushes, again, similar fibre. I've had this less than a year. This is the MAC 222, very popular brush. Fantastic shape for blending eyeshadow or applying very softly to contours of the lid, the crease, whatever. But I don't know whether you can, really see there the fraying of the hairs is really quite significant. Particularly if I compare it with a much cheaper brush, well, a bit cheaper brush from Sephora, bought at pretty much the same time. I have to say I probably use this a little less because I don't like the appearance and weight of it quite as much as the MAC one, but there's no fraying whatsoever, and it's very regularly cleaned. And I suppose that's kind of made me rethink a little bit about the MAC brushes. What I really like about them is the handles. There's a lot of uniformity in the shape and weight of the handles. They're quite weighty, and I actually like that rather than a lighter brush. This brush feels much more substantial in my hand, and therefore for me easier to control when I'm applying than the Sephora brush, which, the brush part of it is essentially doing exactly the same task as the MAC 222. But if you put them together, it's one, a much shorter handle. And, I think that's probably just a matter of preference, whether you like shorter or longer. I'm less bothered about that than the kind of weight of the brush, which I must say I do prefer the MAC. One of my favourite MAC brushes is the 239 for really packing eyeshadow onto the lid or highlighting the brow, and I use this brush nearly every day if I'm wearing makeup. It's only the days when I'm not wearing any eyeshadow I wouldn't use it rather, and you can see that one's wearing very well. So it looks like the fibre works best in very short, densely packed brush head rather than the softer domed brushes that we've got in the blush and the blending brush. I realised that I'd got quite a few old Molton Brown brushes and quite a few the Bare Essentials brushes, often because they just come free with the product when I've bought powders on QVC. So I've got several of their concealer or I guess foundation brushes. They're a bit small for foundation. This is the MAC concealer brush 195 that I have. I tend actually very often just to use my fingers for concealer, but if I'm trying to do a really good job, particularly under the eyes, this is a great brush. But so, if I'm honest, is this little precision concealer brush from Bare Essentials, which I've had for years, and it's still going strong. My only real proper foundation brush is this one, which I think is a Boots one that somebody gave me as a present, and that's wearing quite well. It's taking a while to dry, actually. It's still much damper than the other brushes. I washed this morning and been out drying. I must say I do aspire to buying probably a really good quality foundation brush at some stage in the future, but I'm kind of thinking whether that should be MAC or maybe one of the other premium brands, or maybe I will go back and look at Sephora, because again, when I looked at the Sephora Pro blush brush that I have. Again, that one seems to be aging quite a bit better than the MAC brushes are. Just want to mention this one here. This is probably one of my most used brushes. That kind of goes against my assertion a few minutes ago that I like long, heavy handles. This is a very short brush which I use for, all sorts of things, from blusher to highlighter to powder. I've had it for years, and I really, really like it and use it a lot, and it's aging very well. So I guess I just learned for myself, really, looking through this selection, that perhaps MAC wasn't the be-all and end-all, although I do like their brushes. I really, really like the way they look, and some of them work out really well. But equally, some of the other kind of medium end brands are really good, and they're worth a look at. So if anyone has any recommendations, particularly for a brand for a concealer brush, a foundation brush, which I think, in the market for buying quite soon, and maybe another kind of all-over powder brush, because I do wear mineral skin finish or powder most days now, so that's a brush that gets a lot of use. And at the moment I'm using a variety of my larger brushes, including the Kabuki brush there at the back, and another similar one. I've got a Chanel one that's not here, but none of them are entirely what I want. So if anyone has any recommendations, pop them in the panel below. I'd be very grateful. Bye for now.